Welcome to the first episode of 2023 of the Heart-Led, Soul-Fed Show, welcoming a special guest, Udo Erasmus, and he is a health, wellness, spiritual, and human nature educator, and we're talking about mental health for modern times. Past guests include professional numerologist and author Nova Lee Wilder, the author of Soul Sourced Entrepreneur, Christine Kane, Christian de la Huerta, transformation teacher, author of Awakening the Soul of Power and TEDx speaker, Sean Leonard, Mi'kmaq medium, the author of The Language of Spirit and TV host of Spirit Talker on APTN. I guide empaths and old souls to overcome anxiety, unworthiness, and overwhelm so they can unleash their gifts and find their purpose. You're worthy. You matter. You're here for a reason. You have purpose. My first book, Intuition Saved My Life, is a guide for empaths, light workers, and sensitives, and it's available on Amazon now. It's time for the 2023 Dream It, Vision It, Map It workshop, January 15th, 2023, absolutely free. The link is below. Isn't it time you followed your dreams? Join me in a very sacred group for 6 weeks of magic, mediumship, intuitive development, and more. And if you're looking for the ultimate transformation, Unleash Your Purpose is 1 year with myself. Isn't it time to love yourself? Our Soul Healers community is open. Come on in. We're doing a dry January and decluttering challenge, and it's completely free. Replays can be found anywhere you watch your favorite videos or listen to your favorite podcast. Please like, subscribe, and follow, and join us live every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Mountain. And yes, it is a special time. It is Friday, not Wednesday, but hey, we like to mix things up. I mean, isn't that what life is all about? If you can't go with the flow, then I guess it'll just come around again for you to know, just like any type of lesson in life as well. And my guest, I came across actually, he was a guest on a podcast called Food Matters, talking about fats that heal and fats that kill. And I almost feel that will be another show because I'm learning so much. Udo is the founder of Udo's Choice and the author of books, Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill, which has sold over 250,000 copies. And he's an acclaimed author and speaker. He has an 8-step progress that takes, consideration of all the elements of nature and human nature, including physical health, mental health, pretty much like myself, 360-degree healing, looking at all levels, life energy. His background includes studies in biochemistry, genetics, biology, nutrition, and he has a master's degree in counseling psychology. My goodness, wow. I am so excited to have Udo on the show. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Christine. Glad to be doing this.
So glad we can make this happen. I mean, if you see something and you're piqued, you're curious, and you're like, I don't know why, but I need to have that person on my show, or I need to go and do this. I need to go and do that. That's what I do. When I see something, I feel pulled. I'm like, I'm just going to go and do it. And it doesn't matter who it is. I feel it's really important for all of us to share our knowledge.
Yep.
So I thank you for being here. And I'm in Calgary, Alberta, if you'd like to let everybody else know where you are in the world.
Yep. I live in Vancouver.
Beautiful.
And I noticed this is episode 223.
Yeah.
In the year 2023.
I know. I noticed that today when I was preparing. So I was like, ooh, I love synchronicity. And I can tell, just who you are and as you talk and how you've integrated everything. We're going to talk about mental health for modern times. So why don't you take it away?
Hmm. Well, it's interesting. Mental health. There's so much coming at us all the time, probably more than ever before, and probably more negative than ever before. And so it's very easy to, if your sense of yourself comes from outside, then you could say we're living in a pretty bad news moment in time. But if you understand that you are the light in your body, in your life, and in fact, I can derive it for you. But if you can get to the light that you are, that is not affected by the darkness in the world, then you're good to go. You don't need it from outside because you have it on the inside. And so how you derive that? Your life is a fraction of solar energy. Solar energy filtered through 93 million miles of its track to the Earth, and then filtered through the atmosphere. So not everything that the sun shines out ends up down here. So you're a fraction of that light, and that light is captured by plants. And that light activates electrons, it excites electrons, so they form bonds with other electrons between atoms to make molecules. And this solar energy fraction is stored in the bonds between the atoms in those molecules, and some of those are your food. And when you eat those molecules, they're absorbed into your cells, and in your cells, they're broken down. And that fraction of solar energy is released. And that's the energy that we now call life. Life energy is solar energy. So you are a solar energy gadget. One of the many solar energy gadgets. But you're the best one, because the best solar energy gadget are human beings. But solar energy gadgets, plants are solar energy gadgets too. The trees and the flowers and the shrubs and the animals, they're all run by solar energy. And that solar energy is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient in your body. It weighs nothing, it runs everything. And in your individual essence, you are that energy. So that when when life and your body part company, you go with the energy, and the body goes back to the elements it was made out of.
Hmm.
But my point for all of this setup is, here you are, a gadget of light. Here you are, a creature run by light, filled with light. And most of the time, because our focus is outside or in our head and our thoughts, we completely miss the light that we are. And that light happens to also be empowering, because it's the power that runs everything, and unconditional love.
Hmm.
It actually loves your body unconditionally. The life, the flow of that solar energy through your body, 24/7, 365, lifelong, has only one purpose, which is to make sure that everything in your 60 trillion cells, all the 100,000 chemical reactions that happen every second in every one of your 60 trillion cells, takes place in the best possible way. That's who you are. Okay, now, now, what did you say was depressing?
Oh my goodness.
There's no depression is not possible in that light. Anxiety is not possible in that light. That light is filled with unconditionally loving, empowering love for you. You are so loved. It is unbelievable. And when you can do the homework to get in
Mm.
touch with that.
The soul work, I call it, but
Yeah,
yes.
it's soul work. Yeah, I call it homework because it's the work we do at home.
Yes,
And at
no.
home, and at home is the space that our body occupies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to get in touch with that because you were born for that. Were born with that and you were born for that. But your senses will always take you out because you basically have to deal with survival. And for that, anytime change happens, that draws your senses outward because you have to assess the change. Is this friend or is this foe? Do I embrace it? Do I run? Or is it irrelevant so I can just ignore it? But every time something changes, phew, oh, what's that? You hear the sound, you see something move, right? Then you're drawn to it. Going back to yourself is not automatic like that. Has to be deliberate. Because our senses take us out for survival, that's important, so it's natural, so it has to happen. But going back is optional. It has to be deliberate because there isn't something going inside of you going, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, inside it's just like, oh, cool, just calm, beautiful. So what draws you is called heartache. That's the call to come home to yourself. Lots of things trigger it. When something you went to outside, when that dries up, then and there's an uneasy feeling in your chest. You might call it blues or loneliness or longing, or you might call it heartache, or you might call it grief. You
Mm.
might call it sadness, sorrow, and you feel it in your chest. And, when somebody dumps you, you feel it, or somebody betrays you, you feel it, or you lose something or something that you have put value into, then that triggers it. But the trigger is not the cause. The cause is our disconnection from the light that we are.
Mm.
And it gets you out of your head and it pulls you here, so you're in your body and you're that far away from it, like less than a hair's breadth behind the heartache is your wholeness, is your fulfillment, is your unconditional love, is your peace. So we are peace and love depressed, right?
Peace and love depressed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
like, okay. And the thing is that things happen and we do put value into things outside, and those sometimes dry out and we lose them and all of that. So you have to deal with the loss that happens. That's a natural thing too. Somebody occupies space in your space and then they're gone, and then you miss it because you've depended on it quite a bit,
Mm.
right? But at the same time that you give that some attention, and grieving is a natural process, and sorrow and sadness are natural processes and feelings. At the same time, there's something in you that was not affected by any of those things because it is beyond the world of change. And so give that attention too. Do the
Mhm.
one, but make sure you also do the other. It's
Yeah.
called a life of balance.
A life, yeah, and everything is in balance, and you can be in balance, out of balance, on the
Yes.
edge, not on the edge. I'm just saying hello to some of our community here. Gite, hello, and Patty. So nice to see you as well. Um, Please, everyone, if you have questions about mental health, if you're struggling with mental health, if you know someone that is and you don't know what to do, feel free to reach out either live or on the replay. We will not leave you hanging. And at the end, Udo has a special gift for everyone. And I'm already partaking in the gift. So I'm just going to leave it there until the end. So, uh,
Mm.
gosh, honestly, I feel, no, hmm, you're talking about grief and you're talking about the body leaving. I feel like my dad is channeling through you.
Mm.
I lost him recently, so
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
thank you for being here. And Huh, what do you, because we all know I don't do resolutions anymore because I we self-sabotage. I know that for a fact. I've worked with many clients. We have high expectations. We're all like, go, go, all guns, because we've got that Christmas energy coming into January. And then we're like, we're going to do all these things in like 1 month or whatever that happens to be. And then as the days, the weeks go by, we realize, so what do you think happens? And do you think that contributes to mental health?
Oh, everything contributes to mental health. Uh, but no, what happens when you're inspired, you
Mm,
see possibility, you have vision, you have purpose, you can be very lofty in your ideals. And Christmas is a time that a lot of people use as an excuse to inspire themselves, right? And they do it
yes.
seasonally. And when you're inspired, you actually are more in touch with the energy you have, the power you have, the ability you have, the goals you can that are achievable for you. But when the inspiration evaporates, like after Boxing Day, right? And it's downhill from there, right? Then then you lose your inspiration because you're not uh, how do you say that? You haven't done what I call the homework that you need to do to be able to go to that inspired place within you whenever you want to. And with the inspiration, go your goals. Right? When I'm inspired, I have very big goals. When I'm depressed, everything's too much. Right? It gets like that, right? And I used to be depressed. I don't get depressed much these days because I know how to go home to the place where in me depression is impossible. In the light, you cannot be depressed.
Mm.
Light is not, light is uplifting by nature. And disconnection from the light is depressing by nature. And it just kind of in a way just focuses on how important it is for human beings, each human being, to learn to have access to the light within them deliberately on a moment to moment basis. And then to practice some method of going there often enough that it becomes a well trod path that you can use whenever you need it.
And that's what I do. I call it building my spiritual toolkit, and I say grab everything and anything and keep what works and do it every day. Practice,
Yeah,
rinse, repeat, chop wood, carry water,
yeah.
beginner's mind. So I also I also know in the journey that what you eat, I mean what you
Mhm.
consume, let's go there is very important.
Yeah, if you want to be physically healthy, you need to live and eat and drink and breathe in line with the natural system out of which your body is properly made. And the goal in nature, life's mandate for creatures that eat, is fresh, whole, raw, organic, and for human beings, mostly plant based.
Yes.
And when you live in line with that, your body becomes made more in line with nature and more in line with its nature of being energized, of being vital, of being inspired. Here we are again, right? And if you live out of line with nature, that could be either you're not getting some nutrients you need, they're called essential nutrients because you can't make them, so you have to get them from outside. So if you don't get enough of those, then life can't make your body properly. So
So
you're going to end up,
what are essential nutrients? Sorry.
well, yeah, they're nutrients that you have to live and be healthy. You can't make them from anything else in your own body. And so they have to be brought in from outside. That's the first part of the definition. The second part is if you don't get enough of any one of the 42 essential nutrients, you cannot stay healthy. Your health will deteriorate. You will get deficiency symptoms from not having enough. Those are degenerative in nature, which just means your body's slowly falling apart. And the symptoms get worse with time. And if you don't get enough of any one of these 42 long enough, you die. So these are the key building blocks for body constructions and for physical existence. And the third part is that if you're deteriorating because you're living out of line and you're not getting enough of one or more of these, and you bring back enough of them before you die, because death by definition is not reversible, if you bring them back in adequate quantities before you die, all of the problems that come from not getting them or not getting enough of them are reversed. Because life knows how to make a body that works, provided you take responsibility to make sure all of the building blocks that are needed land in your body so life can do that job. So that's the one part. So you maybe, if you're living out of line with nature, you might be missing something that's essential. And you might be getting something that shouldn't be in your body. We call that poison. And that could be pharmaceutical drugs and their side effects. It could be alcohol. It could be smoke. It could be pesticides. It could be genetically modified organisms. There are lots of things. We have like lots of industrial chemicals. There's probably, I think we've got about 100,000 of them that never existed in nature. And because they never existed in nature, your body may not have a way to break them down. And when they end up in your body, then they interfere with what's supposed to be going on there. And that is the second reason why your physical health deteriorates. And the third one is if your digestion doesn't work, because then you're not going to get all the nutrients and you're going to get toxicity built up in your system.
Absolutely. And Gitte is asking, do you have the list of the 42?
I can tell you what they are. 18 minerals, 13 vitamins, 9 essential amino acids that come from proteins, and the 2 essential fatty acids that come from oils, omega-3 and omega-6.
Okay. So,
and I work with the omega-3 and 6, particularly the omega-3, because it's too low in 99% of the population, too low for optimum health.
yep.
It is also the most sensitive of all of our nutrients. And the oils they need the most care because they're damaged by light, by oxygen, and by heat quite easily. So we should give them the most care, and we actually give them the least care. We throw those oils in the frying pan and turn them into smoke and damage them by light, oxygen, and heat all at the same time. Frying is the single dumbest thing that the human race has ever invented to do to their health. And so I tell people, you got a frying pan? Everybody has one, right? Go get it. Go get it. Pull it out, turn it upside down, hit yourself on the head with it really hard. So it's associated with pain because that thing is going to give you a lot of pain, and throw it out and go back to cooking in water and adding oils made with health in mind to the food after it comes off the heat source. And you can also put them on cold and warm foods.
Absolutely.
And good oils go with any food, with all foods, literally vegetables, fruit, protein, starches. But be careful, because if you eat too much starch and then you add oil to it, that's more energy. You'll start putting on weight. And then you're going to blame the oil for making you put on weight. But actually, it's the carbs. When you eat more carbs than you burn, your body turns those into fat for storage, hoping for a famine, which in Calgary doesn't happen. And where I am doesn't happen that much. And then you end up wearing the extra carbohydrates in the form of fats. So you have to, when you take more of good oils, then you need to lower your carb intake.
No, yeah, and I learned so much, like listening to you and about if you're frying your fats, you're frying your body essentially.
Yeah, fried oils fry health, and fried foods fry health. Actually, there's research on starch, protein, and oils. if you overheat them, each one of them, independent of the others, will increase inflammation, which is behind a lot of health problems, and increase the risk of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So fried foods, fry health, and fried oils, fry health.
Yeah, but
And
I'm
so,
hearing it tastes so good, but that's
no,
something
no,
to
no,
do with,
no. You
yeah.
know what? When you take the burnt stuff off of a steak, you scratch all that burnt stuff off.
Yes.
You make a tablespoon of it, and you eat it. It's squeaky between your teeth like chalk on a blackboard. It's bitter. It's acrid. It's scratchy, and it tastes disgusting. And if you don't believe me, try it. I've tried it. That's how I know, right? But people say, oh, I love my burnt food. Yeah, no, you don't. You love your mother. Your mother was misled into that habit by a big oil industry for their greed, because
Yes.
we were using water to cook, and they said, oh my God, if we could get them to use oil for cooking, oh my God, Kate, oh my God. And they're like $100 billion industry annually. Right?
That's
So
right.
they bamboozled our mothers to use it, said, oh, it's more convenient. Oh, and it's quicker. And, mothers are always really busy, understandably, because they do all the work, right? And so they started doing that. So you got it with mother's love. So what I'm saying to you that you need to do is you need to separate the mother love and keep that, because it's unbelievable, and separate it from the bad habit that she was taught and then passed on to you.
Absolutely. We're breaking chains, generational,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, ancestral, all of it. So,
Yep.
and it's not hard. It's only your ego, your mind saying it's hard.
Yeah, it's just a
Once
habit. It's just a habit.
that too, it's a habit.
There's a momentum, and then it's like, oh, you see food, or you see something, and you got to throw it in the frying pan because that's all you've ever done. So, well, you know what? You just take a stop, take a deep breath, say to yourself, today I'm going to do it different. People said, what do you do with your steak? Well, when I was a kid, I'm 80, so I'm
Wow.
part of the old Coots Club now.
Are you going to be
Uh,
the centurion?
oh, good chance.
Okay.
Yeah, good chance. But you never know, right? Because a truck might run over my head. You're not in charge of everything, and you do live by grace, all things considered.
Absolutely.
And so when I was a kid, we used to cooking meant in water, boiled in water, steamed in water, and what we used to do with the steak, we cut it into cubes, throw it in the stew with the vegetables and the spices. Tasted great, wasn't burned, didn't make us sick. So yeah, I'm saying go back to that. If you
Mm-hmm.
eat raw, if you can eat raw, but then it has to be clean and fresh, because if it's contaminated, cooking will kill the bacteria. So you have to pay some attention to that, depending on where you live.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm whole food, plant-based over a year, and I people
Yeah.
always go, "What do you eat?" I'm like, "What? What don't I eat?"
Yeah. How many? If you look at the planet, how many plants are there compared to how many animals? That should be your ratio of plant food to animal food.
Absolutely.
That's one way to look at it.
And I'm still learning, right?
Yeah.
And I really, well, I really appreciate what you're sharing. Patty is asking, how do you feel about tapping for health?
Tapping.
EFT. Yeah, tapping.
Yeah, it works. It works. It has some track record. I don't do it because I have a way. I have a way to go in to the place in me that never gets sick. The energy that makes you alive
Yes.
never gets sick and never dies. You
Yeah,
want
amen.
eternal life. You're afraid of death. Walk into the light.
Mm,
You'll be there forever. And it's a good forever,
yes.
right? So
It's
I don't.
eternal. It's eternal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's internal and eternal,
Yeah.
right?
Love that, love that. Thanks for
Yeah,
asking that question, Patty. And like I said, EFT, acupressure, there's so
yeah,
many.
yeah, yeah.
I don't like the term alternative. That should just be natural.
Yeah,
And
those are the natural methods. The
yes.
alternative is poison medicine, right? It's a fad. It's a
Oh,
fad. It's only about 300 years old.
that's
And
right.
how long has food been medicine? as
Mm.
long as we've been around.
Forever.
Some people say 6,000 years, some people say 200,000 years, and some people say, well, if you trace it all the way back, we're talking about 4 billion years. And if you want to really get deep, then you say, well, it's 16.8 billion years ago or 14.8 billion years ago when the Big Bang happened. Now, I wasn't there, so I can't vouch for it. But
Mhm.
but nature has always been food.
Yes.
And that's, for every creature that lives here. And then we came
Absolutely.
and we thought we were smarter than nature, and frying came out of that. And, all these toxic chemicals that we use for all kinds of things came out of that. And then the so-called medicines that have side effects because they're toxic to the body, because they're not natural and they don't belong in the body. That came out of that. And that's all like the better living through chemistry hasn't really made our lives better. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
our lifespan is going down. I think I heard the other day for the past 9 years. No, lifespan is now lower than it was 9 years ago. So for the past 2 or 3 years, our average lifespan, has gone down. Before that, it was always going up, going up, going up, going up. So I
Wow.
think we've reached the you might say we have reached the limit of self-neglect
Mhm.
that we can comfortably live with. And so we need to change some of the
Yeah.
things we do.
Absolutely. I was watching, you were part of, this documentary, Eating Our Way to Extinction. It is free on YouTube. Go and watch it. I think there were so many things for me, but, the part when, Tony Robbins was talking about his mercury, it was
Yeah.
off the charts, his metal toxicity, and he thought, "Oh, I just took, the stuff out of my teeth, like the dentist part." No, it was all the fish he was eating.
Yeah, he was eating lots of tuna. Tuna and
I
swordfish.
just I couldn't believe it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that I had so many light bulb moments, and then I seen just a simple sign, and it said, "Human change, not climate change."
Well, the climate change. Yeah, first of all, when COVID lockdowns
Yes.
taught me something about climate change.
Hmm.
If you want to fix the environment, do less. Because everybody got locked down. The air over China got clean. The water in the canals in Venice
The
got clean, and
dolphins
the
were
dolphins came
swimming.
back. In Vancouver, the water was incredibly clean. It's always murky in summer. And I swear the green plants were greener and the flowers were brighter that year.
Nature got to breathe.
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so except for, bringing back the trees we knocked off the planet. There's about,
Yeah.
people say 3/4 of what we had is gone. Some people say it's 90%. But the green plants help moderate climate. In winter, they keep it warmer, and in summer, they keep it cooler. You know that because if
Yes.
you're in summer and it's really hot, you go on, stand under a tree, and it's like 10 or 15 degrees cooler.
Absolutely.
So they moderate climate, and water moderates climate. So looking at better water management, it might be not a bad idea. We have too much water in some places and not enough in others. We could actually do something with our ingenuity to balance that. And then just like living in a plant world.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that make sense. Everything else is just more stuff that somebody's using to make themselves rich
Oh, big time, and
without
distraction.
producing anything useful.
That's right,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right, and let's distract and keep
yeah,
everyone in the dream,
yeah.
in the illusion.
And
Um,
and then be the light in
yes,
that
and just
natural
be the
system
light.
and
Yeah,
enjoy.
and it starts with me,
Yeah,
it starts with you, it
yeah.
starts with all of us
So
in this conversation,
yeah, and
so
my sentence that I started and got way off on. So before we fix what needs to be fixed in the environment, we need to feel
mm,
like we're whole. That's job one. And we are whole, but we need to bring our focus to where the wholeness always lives.
yes,
And when we're focused in that wholeness, we will live in a whole way into the environment. And we will do things differently, and we will not do some things we're doing now out of frustration and out of the hope to become fulfilled by it. and you're never going to get your fulfillment on the outside, because fulfillment means that you're full of something. So if you're full of something, you better look inside. What are you full of? Right?
That's a
You're
whole
not going
nother
to find
conversation.
your fulfillment outside of the space your body occupies.
Absolutely.
Right? So what is your fulfillment? Yeah, you're filled with light. You're filled with love. You're filled with peace. You're filled with contentment. You're filled with inspiration. It's all already in you,
It's already preloaded. It's
no,
always been
no,
there.
no matter whether you're a billionaire or you're sleeping under the bridge.
That's right.
The light
That's
is in
right.
every living creature.
Mm.
Acknowledge it in yourself, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe begin to acknowledge it in other people too. And then I think
Uh,
the world will change massively.
oh, it already is. The wheels are definitely turning. Patty is asking about, do you have methods for ADHD?
Yeah, let me talk about ADHD a little. I have a friend who told me when I was driving in the car with him and his wife and his son, who was sitting in the back. I was sitting in the front. And he said, my kid has been diagnosed with ADHD, and it's really severe. And so I heard that, and I hadn't noticed anything when I saw the kid. That was like, there was nothing noticeable. So I turned to the kid and I said, so what do you really like doing? He says, oh, I love playing video games.
Mm.
I said, do you have a problem focusing when you're playing video games? No. And I said to my friend, your kid doesn't even have ADHD. What he has is he's very bright and he gets easily bored.
Mm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
you need to enrich his environment, because he's obviously capable of learning. And when it gets boring for him, well, then he spaces out and he looks this way, looks that way, and then somebody who wants to control him says, oh yeah, this guy's got a problem. Let's give him some Ritalin. Let's put him on a drug that nails him down. So he's not, he's not exploring the universe anymore. So a lot of what gets called ADHD is normal physical activity in children who are bright. And one of the ways you measure brightness, even before you can do IQ tests, is that they take an interest in their environment. The kid's supposed to be like that. Now, there is a kind of ADHD that comes from essential fatty acid deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Because the essential fatty acids required for brain development and brain function. And these kids actually can't focus. And what do you have to do? The answer is already in the diagnosis. If you got ADHD because you're not getting enough essential fatty acids, then you need to get more essential fatty acids. And I've had people like that too. A lady called me and she said, my 14-year-old used to get A's in school, and now she can't focus more than 5 minutes and her grades are slipping. And so we talked about a little bit about what it was. I said, how old's the kid? She said 14. What does she weigh? She said 140 pounds. So I said, so give her 3 tablespoons a day of the Udo's oil blend mixed in food, and the intake spread out over the day, and see what happens. So she called me several months later. She's crying on the phone. She says, I can't believe what happened. She's back to A's. She's in front of her computer 45 minutes at a time. She's getting the work done. In that case, it was based on essential fatty acid deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be based on B vitamin deficiencies.
Yes.
So what you want to do is you want to create a diet that has all 42 of the essential nutrients, the 18 minerals, 13 vitamins, 9 essential amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids, that you optimize their intake, because life knows what to do once you've done that.
Absolutely. And
My guess that ADHD at that point
mm-hmm.
will only happen when the kid is bored because he's bright and active, or she's bright and active, and she just she picks up what they have to learn. That's like we we don't get taught by the highest common denominator. We get taught by a much lower denominator. And the
Yeah.
bright kids learn really fast, and then you need to put them somewhere where, get them doing something or get them experimenting on something or something. So enrich their environment in whatever
Challenge
way you can.
them. They want to be challenged. They
Yeah.
need to be pushed to the edge to go, "Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, I never thought I could do this. Now that I've done this, I can
Yeah.
do this." Like light them up.
Yeah.
Encourage them. And I always say go to the arts or get into creative aspects because
Yeah. I was going to say,
that's
teach them how to dance
yeah,
and
because
sing,
and
you
sing
know.
and music and
Yeah. Yeah.
painting and just
Yeah.
exploring the universe. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much to
Go
explore
out in
there.
nature and
Yeah,
count the mushrooms or the insects or whatever. Listen to the sounds,
absolutely.
do deep breathing exercises, just
Yeah, deep
experiment.
breathing.
What is the bottle? What is this body? What is this creature that I am? What is it capable of? Let me
Yeah,
just
because
see. Let me just try things.
I love, healing frequencies, and I play
Hmm.
with like crystal singing bowls. And as soon as I do that, and I work with animals quite a bit, they notice right away. They're like, everything stops. They're like, what
Hmm.
is that? And they're so tuned and attuned. So if the animals are attuned, the plants are attuned, and that means we are attuned. So do more of that,
Yeah.
is what I say. Gitte is asking or she's saying her thought was that the food also has an effect on how we are affected by the food that we eat. So if we're
Yeah.
eating
Yeah.
junk,
That's
then
yeah. No, of course, everything. When I talk about health, I've got 8 different levels of it. Because
mhm,
there's awareness, then there's life energy, then there's inspired purpose, then there's the physical body, then there is survival smarts, then there is social group, then there is natural environment, and then there is infinite awareness. So those are the 3 levels. Each one of those is different. And the reason why I came up with that is because I was looking around and thinking, okay, because I was working in health and I was working with oils, and then I was working with digestion because that's the second most neglected. So we work with digestive enzymes and probiotics. And then I was looking at, well, what else affects health that isn't being addressed? And the answer was, well, everything affects health. Absolutely everything affects healthy. And each affects health in a different way. So thoughts, that's like inspired purpose, involves thoughts and images. So that's part of the mind. Survival smarts, that's also part of learning and part of the mind. And then there's a third part that I call habitual mind.
mm,
All the trippy things you bounce around in your head, and they don't mean anything, and they don't give you anything, and you learn them somewhere, and they're not even your thoughts, right? So of course, thoughts affect everything too. And one of the most powerful ways that thoughts affect our health is that if you believe that you're not capable, you will do whatever you need to do to prove that you're not capable. So that's like the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you say to yourself, why am I screwed up? You're going to create, if that's your big mantra, right? Why am I screwed up? Right? Then you're going to create a lifestyle that proves that you're screwed up. But if you said, there's nothing wrong with me, there has never, ever been anything wrong with me because I am alive and there's nothing ever wrong with life. If you do
mm,
that, you're going to build a very different life. And of course, the choices you make for health are going to be affected by how you think about health as well. Right? I always got this problem. Oh, I always got this problem. Oh, I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. Oh, I don't think, it's not curable. Oh, no, I don't know. And then you're going to create the eating habits to keep you there.
that's right. And
And
it's also a belief system.
yeah,
It
that's
is.
basically what, yeah.
Yeah, and belief system
Habitual
stands for
mind is
BS.
filled with belief systems. Yeah,
Yes.
belief system is good abbreviation. BS. Tony said one thing one time that really blew my mind, actually,
Mm,
because I hadn't thought about it. He said, nothing you believe is true. And the first time he said it, it just went, yeah, nothing you believe is true. Tony just said nothing you believe is true, but it sort of didn't land. Second
Yeah.
time he said it, it's like nothing you believe is true. Wow, nothing you believe is true. Because it's made up. Either you made it up, or your parents made it up, or your teachers made it up, or your society made it up.
Yes.
So, and you maybe have not examined it, and you just said, well, how do you know that white people are better than other people? Well, because that's what I was always told, and you never thought about it. You never, and the people who told you weren't clear that the life is in everybody, right?
Yeah.
So that there isn't better or worse from the perspective of according to life, not better or worse, equal, right?
Yes.
Unconditionally loved by the same light, right? So you really have to examine what you think and ask yourself if it is actually helpful, or if it's even true, or if it's even true. And if it's not true, why don't you then you need to drop the baggage,
That's right. And
right?
we,
And
like I
so
always
what is
say, we're the jailers. We have the key.
yeah and
Always have.
and then you, when it comes to eating, the good question to ask is not how was it at McDonald's, but how was it in nature before we got civilized? Fresh, whole, raw, organic, in line with nature, mostly plants for most people at that time. Not all places. There were places that had a lot of meat. They tended to not live as long. And there's lots of research now that confirms that. But to me, it always goes back to, well, what is my nature and what is nature? And how do I live fully present in all of my nature and my surroundings, and not in my head?
Yes.
Because if you could get rid of all of the thoughts in your head, you would be an enlightened being instantly. So it's the thoughts that get in the way. So thoughts affect everything.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I have a friend who's a mentor to me. He says there's nothing wrong with beliefs as long as you don't believe them. Yeah, I think it's like, oh boy, that nails it.
Yeah, that does. And it makes you laugh. And if we're not laughing, what's the point?
Yeah,
And
and
I
and your
I
and your
really
beliefs are supposed to change with conditions.
yes.
So a belief that serves you in one situation is completely the wrong belief in another. So you need to be flexible in your beliefs because they're supposed to serve you.
Mhm.
And when you get stuck in beliefs is when they start to cause problems.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I honestly, I am, in my humble opinion, believe, because I had my own mental health issues,
Mhm.
that it's from disconnection.
100%.
Okay. Uh,
Reconnection is job one.
yeah, that's
And that
why
means bringing the focus back in, because
yes,
inside of us is something that cannot be mentally ill. The life energy will never be mentally ill. The
that's
awareness
right.
that is peace in your being, that's your foundation, can never be mentally ill. And inspired purpose is never mentally ill. Mental illness comes from thoughts and emotions, which have thoughts attached to them and are interactive with the environment. So they could be, your body can get sick, but not mentally ill, but it'll get physically sick. But your
Yes.
thoughts can be out of line with reality. That would be the fundamentally that would be the definition. When your thoughts
Mhm.
are not in line with how things are in reality, in nature, right? When you get out of line in your thinking, or or you think that you can beat people up and then they'll love you, right?
Well,
That's
it happens a
there are
lot,
certain,
but yes.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't work all that well.
No.
So somebody said, wear your beliefs like a loose garment. Like, this is a spiritual person said that, right? Wear your thoughts like a loose garment. Don't make them mean too much. Don't ever think that a thought is more important than your experience
That's
of the
right.
wonder of your own life.
And no one else can
Ever.
experience what you've experienced.
Yeah,
It's
and no one can experience your life for you, so it's a wasted gift if you don't make that purpose one. My
that's
view is
right.
purpose one is be fully present and feel how amazing and how magnificent it is to be alive. And
It's a gift. I'm alive.
yeah,
You're alive. We're talking.
yeah, and purpose two,
Hmm.
once you feel cared for, there's nothing left to do except where can I help? What needs to
Yeah.
be done?
How
How
may
can
I
I make the biggest
serve?
splash for good?
I
Yeah,
ask God every day, how may I serve? Show me what to do, show me what not to do.
yeah,
And that's why I am so impassioned to help others realize their light, their
yeah,
purpose. And I always say spirituality first with
yeah.
everything because it's always been last.
Yeah,
We
yeah. Seek first the kingdom, right? Was seek first the
yes.
kingdom was the recommendation. And what we do is we seek it last when we run out of options. But here's what's crazy about it. Seeking the kingdom last still works, even if you didn't last.
They
But if you do it first, it's a lot better journey.
yes, absolutely. Gitte is asking, sometimes the body can demand some food, like an avocado. So, is the body need something from that? Like, is that a signal? Do
That
you?
it depends. It
Mm,
depends because it, many people don't know the difference between a physical need
mm-hmm.
and a mental addiction. And depends on what the food is. If it's an avocado, that's probably not too far out of line. But if your body demands that you drink Coca-Cola, or that you drink alcohol, or you uh, that you take dangerous drugs, or uh, that you eat junk, then that's probably comes from something mental,
Mm.
because it's out of line with nature.
Makes yeah, I get that. And but it just came to my mind that some people who crave salty things are lacking a nutrient or a
Yeah, there is that kind of craving for sure.
okay,
I can
yeah.
tell you this: when people say, how many grams of protein should you eat?
Mm.
And I say, well, you know what? Life is not about numbers. Life is about feelings. So what I find out is, how much protein do I need? Well, if I'm working out, because sometimes I work out more than other times, I crave more foods with protein that are higher in protein. And when I stop doing it, I stop craving those foods. So there is a craving that comes from that's based on a need, where your body is calling for certain things.
Yeah, no. And I
But
just
you
thought
have
I
to know
would
the distinction between your body calling for nutrients and your mind calling for habitual junk. So you have to be a little bit careful saying,
yes.
"Oh, I have a craving, so it must be good for me."
Yeah,
there
yeah.
there are definitely cravings that are not good for you.
Oh my goodness. I like before the show we were saying, maybe this will go 3 hours and I honestly feel I can talk to you for that length of time.
I
Even though
warned
I
you.
have
I warned you.
well, you're just a
Yeah,
wealth of knowledge and I'd really love to have you back on the show again
yeah, that'd be
sometime.
fun. Yeah,
uh, Talking more about the flax and the oils and all of that. So
yeah.
I have Udo has a special gift for everyone. So if you would like a gift, and it doesn't matter if you're watching this on the replay or live, just comment gift but the link is also there as well. I've already partaking in the gift and I'm learning a lot. Thank you for doing all of that in the background and everything that you do for everyone. It is appreciated and felt. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we say goodbye? And I also have two questions. These are
Okay,
like just yeah, fun questions.
okay. Well, starting with depression. Honestly, if you understand, this is like really all I'm here to tell you is that in your essence, you are light. There is no depression in light. If you're depressed, what will it take for you to find your light? Because there's your solution. There's lots of drugs people take for depression, and they say, oh, something, brain chemistry changed. There's very little evidence that depression comes from brain chemistry change. Very little evidence.
I'm
Comes more
evidence
from
of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
comes more from ways of thinking
Mm.
that are not that are basically self-downers. And sometimes it's from regret, sometimes it's I'm not good enough, and sometimes it's I'm really angry and I don't have the courage to scream. So there's different things, but it's always about thinking and emotions
Hmm.
that are out of line with you enjoying the fact that you are light in human form and you get to have the human experience. Oh my God. How incredible is that?
And let's heal all of that, so when we come back, that's not the lesson we're learning again,
Right.
right? I know I'm not doing it. So, anyways.
Yeah. So you had two questions.
Yes, of course. How can we as a collective energy help make your dreams come true?
We're doing it this way right now.
Okay. Ooh, I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's ever said that. Thank you.
No, well, I'll tell you why. It's because I do have a gift, and it's a gift that is helpful to people and needs to be shared. And guess what you are? The amplifier for the sharing.
Ah.
See, otherwise I'd be in the bathroom talking to myself in the mirror.
Oh my goodness.
And that's boring, right? So don't underestimate the importance of the amplifier.
Mm,
That's in addition to the gift that you have yourself too,
yes.
right?
And we all have gifts, absolutely. And that's another reason why I work with the people that I do, because I want them to go, yes, I have gifts.
Hmm.
You don't have more than I do. We all have gifts, and
Yeah,
we're all here to
you don't
share.
you don't need more. You just need to be on the gift.
All right, last question. How does magic, like, what does magic mean to you? How does it feel? What is magic?
It's a good question. I don't use that word much, but I would say magic is way more than expected,
Hmm.
right? If I've always settled for a certain level of low energy, and then all of a sudden I've got 60% more energy because I got my oils right, that's magic because I didn't expect it. It's better than I expected.
Lovely. Well, I love that. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our time together. If anybody has questions and wants more information about Udo or his programs, his books, all of his talks, all of the links are there to go and follow him on Instagram and Facebook, and his website as well. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here. And actually, I'm going to throw one more in, because I do an annual Dream Vision Map workshop, which is coming up in a week and a bit. And this is my third year doing it for free. It's a gift that I like to, because I manifested things. Anyways, I always start my year with a word, a feeling, an intention. So mine is creation. Last
Hmm.
year it was intention. Do you have a word? Do you follow do you follow what I'm asking?
Yeah, I understand what you're asking. Uh, I I've been doing a practice for 50 years that gets me pretty close. I just do the practice, and it takes me to the place. So I don't use words to do that. But a word, one of them would be life. Life is
Mm,
actually the power word on this planet. It could be Buddha, could be Christ, could be Krishna. That's because they all talked about life, but life is actually the power word. It's a nice four-letter word, life. Solar energy is life. Life is the master. Master is Christ, Buddha, Krishna.
mm,
It's all synonymous. So life is the power word for me. And then you look at all the life in all the other creatures, and then you look at life. Oh my God, this is the planet that has life on it. Oh my God, how many planets are there that have life on it? We don't know, but we don't know of any so far. And we've looked some, but life, and what is life? An interaction between solar energy and earth elements to create this incredible, magical, speaking of magic, magical diversity of creatures, all buzzing around and,
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. As you're saying, I'm visualizing buzzing and the greenery and the solar and the light and
yeah.
the universe. It's very
A-
expansive.
and we get to live here. It's heaven.
Yeah,
It's
we
heaven,
do. Heaven on earth.
fundamentally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Gitte is thanking you so much. Very interesting. She loves the beautiful
Thank
life.
you.
Very simple.
Yeah.
And
It
and
is
don't
simple.
we love simple?
Yeah.
So thank you so much again. And I look forward to having another conversation with you in the future.
Yeah.
And everyone, take care. Have a most beautiful, blessed week and 2023. And please remember, healing begins where the ego ends. And let us be your soft landing.
Thank
Sending
you.
lots of love.
Thank you for doing this. This is awesome.
Thank you.
You are awesome.
Do you feel stuck? Are you in pain? Are you looking to create your soul's purpose, but you don't know where to start? Unleash Your Soul's Purpose Mentorship. Hi, my name is Christine Gold, and I'm the founder of 24 Karat Healing. The highly experimental mentorship will help you discover your gifts, free them, and shine your inner light to spread unconditional love, unleashing your magic and your gifts, and ultimately your purpose. You will experience phenomenal breakthroughs, aha moments, epiphanies, energy healing, clearings, inner child work, higher intuition, vivid dream recall. All training slides, PDFs, and audio meditations are recorded and available for you to watch at any time. You can take them with you wherever you go. I hope to see you soon.